Hey lovely people, welcome to the Empowered Journal after a really long time. Join me on the space to create the life you want to live exclusively for you on Amazon and Spotify. Guys, if you like this podcast and if you haven't left your review, at my challenge and request to you is leave one. Go on Amazon and Spotify, click the show and leave your review right below. It really means a lot to me. So let's get working, and here is the question from Namrata for the episode. Hey Dave, I see you do this podcast for a year and a half now, and I find your questions really interesting and your answers as well. I'm sure you would have got mixed comments. How do you deal with it? Where did your journey in loving yourself started? How do you also handle your insecurities of what you lack? Hey Namrata, thank you so much for this thoughtful and a very serious question. And I'm glad to know that you have been my follower throughout. Thanks a million for that. But let me tell you something very quickly before we deep dive into addressing your question. Nobody can make you feel insecure without your consent. So, guys, I'm your host Dev and I'm excited to be with you today. Welcome back if you're returning, and welcome if you're new to the show. Today, you're listening to episode 17, How to Deal with Your Insecurities. Namrata, please understand this, that literally nobody feels confident 100% of the time. We are faced with situation, be it about our work or running a business, first dates that give us the jitters, or relationship that we don't know the answer to, whatsoever. But you know what? All these are completely normal. I basically got tired just living in anxiety, wondering about the next steps. Recently, I came across this interesting research. The findings are that people self criticize themselves to be different from the rest of the world in some negative and alienating way, which is not right, in fact. Whether our self esteem is high or low, one thing is clear. We are a generation that compares, evaluates, and constantly judging ourselves with great scrutiny. You will all have to agree with me on that point. In fact, we are called a narcissistic generation, and we are always told that the technology and the social media are giving us an inflated sense of self. But you know what? Most of us don't even walk around feeling that way, yaar. I mean, we don't feel that great. In fact, there is one hidden emotion that overwhelmingly shapes our self image and keep influencing our behavior, which is called the insecurity. Listen to this very carefully. If you could enter the minds of people around you, even the narcissistic ones, you are likely to see them very insecure about so many unhealed things in their life, like past criticism, a negative self image, or needing approval for everything that they do, and even a lack of trust. Actually, all of our insecurities are an opportunity to do some good work in life if you see through it. This realization has helped me to accept myself and, in fact, trust myself more. So, start paying attention, and I'm gonna talk about three common insecurities and also steps to beat it. First of all, as an adult, it's super easy for me to say that I don't take things personally. However, before you're fully grown adult, until 35, rejection can be really painful to your self esteem. It can be upsetting, or it can even induce rage. Practically, you have to go through rejection a handful of times before you realize it's nothing to do with you. It's completely natural that you feel insecure if you had a breakup recently. But sadly, breakups aren't the only reason for this, right? It could also be professional. You may have been rejected in an interview or turned down for a promotion. Whatever the cause, it left you the feeling that you don't deserve it. That recent experience will cloud your judgment for sure. It can also hold you back from approaching people or even the upcoming opportunities. Let me also tell you how to beat this insecurity due to rejection. In my opinion, people should actually know their worth, because when you accept yourself, love who you are, and know your own value, you will never put yourself in a toxic, rejected situation. Like I told you before, understand that it's completely natural. Even the greatest athletes have their bad days, yeah. But the only difference is that they don't hold on to them. Everyone has a bad day, and if there is particular instance of rejection that bothers you, take a bird's eye view of the situation and it will definitely make you feel better. If not better, at least you will come to an acceptance that it's completely natural. See, one thing you have to understand is that it's completely okay to be not okay. After accepting it as a natural occurring, You can also feel better by thinking about your achievements, depending on the situation. If you're having a bad day, think about your good days. Because you would have definitely done something better, done something well in similar previous situations. And moreover, it doesn't have to be big, but the sense of accomplishment or the sense of feel good should be real. And all you need to do is just to recall to make yourself feel better. And one tip that would give you an immediate remedy would be involving friends. Talking to your friends or the people that are close to your heart will definitely boost your morale. While it may seem awkward in the beginning because you don't want to, maybe you might be an introvert person, but eventually it'll get better. They'll usually remind you of your successes that you probably would have forgotten and feeling bad about it. And the next most common thing that occurs is social insecurity. The fear of being socially judged. Some people feel self conscious or anxious always in front of others. It doesn't matter whether it's a group of colleagues or even a family member. If you suffer from such social anxiety, you wouldn't raise your hand even if you know the answer in class. You wouldn't give your opinion when your boss asks in front of others. You will always think of excuses to bail out of the presentation or the meetings or whatsoever the opportunities are. What happens next? This behavior will dramatically reduce your chances of personal and professional growth for sure. So, let me also tell you how to beat this. Please ensure you confront your inner critic. You remember the voice that I was talking about, the negative, alienating voice that keeps telling you that you are not good enough? In fact, nobody is holding you back as strongly as the voice inside your head. Next time, when your inner voice tells you that it's not going to end well, confidently reply back that you can handle the situation well. Be firm in talking back to the negative voice in your mind. And most important thing is always be prepared. Before getting into any social situation, prepare for a couple of minutes. And also start small. The shortest interaction can actually boost your confidence big time. And lastly, insecurity that occurs due to perfectionism. Some people set this exceptionally high standards for themselves. If you're one of those, trust me, you know that you are constantly worrying about falling short of those expectations. Because you feel if you're not perfect, you won't be accepted or liked. It's not the truth. Over the years, I have met all kinds of people, and the only ones I don't care for are the ones who pretend to be something they are not. Even really bitchy people can be accepted if they are just who they are. Nothing is more repelling than a sharp tempered person pretending to be nice. You know that, right? It feels completely false the whole time. So stop being perfect and just be who you are. The need to be perfect in every situation is the problem right here. Unfortunately, the social media has only made it more worse. This feedback loop through our smartphones is very addictive and dangerous. So the external standards just keep creating more fear and fear for us. And let me also tell you this constant comparison within yourself is really, really bad for your mental health. So let's see how to beat it. You need to understand this. Perfectionism is an illusion. Even the greatest business solutions aren't perfect. They go through several changes once they are released. All great companies and successful individuals actually understand this. And focus on the efforts. The outcome depends on several factors. It is not only on you, while the inputs are usually under your control. So that's what you should focus on. So stop getting obsessed about the fruits of your rewards and concentrate on your efforts. And finally, nobody really cares here. Nobody's actually interested in the granular details of your work. They just want it to be available. It has to be out there. Let me tell you this, if that was the case, I would have never launched the Empower Journal because I was not even close to perfect. In fact, people will appreciate you for the chances you take and not the chances you shy away from because of your idea of perfectionism. So, be it an average project, a project report, a blog piece, a podcast, or a music show, whatsoever, making it available exponentially. In short, we worry what other people think about us all the time. And the social media, with its culture of getting us to want approval with the likes and retweets, with its showing off amazing bodies, travel, food, it only exaggerates the problem. But you know all this. The question is, how do we overcome these insecurities? How do we become okay with ourselves? How do we learn to find peace? The answer isn't simple, but it requires only one thing to start with: a willingness. A willingness to face what we usually don't want to. That means a bit of courage, just in small doses to start with. And the first step to beat your insecurity is addressing the fact that they are real. Once you name it, you can beat it. I understand and I also acknowledge that overcoming insecurity is a challenge each one of us has to face, must face in business, relationship, in fact, throughout our life. There isn't a person amongst us who doesn't have insecurities. Some of us are just better in dealing with them or hiding them. So do not let that stop you. Do let me know, how do you overcome your insecurities? Start on your game and keep going for your dreams. With this, we have come to the end of this episode. So this is Dev signing off from you. Thank you for listening. Download Spotify and subscribe the Empower Journal and Amazon Prime Music. And also be sure to check the other episodes as well. I'll catch up with you soon again. Nandri!